Multiple loud explosions have been heard and thick black plumes of smoke seen rising from the direction of a Russian military airbase in the Crimean Peninsula. Videos captured from the scene from a nearby tourist beach seem to indicate, and there you're looking at those visuals of earlier this evening, thick plumes of smoke rising from very close to a Russian airbase. At least 12 explosions of varying intensity were heard in the course of a couple of minutes. The Russian governor of Crimea said he had gone to the area and that circumstances are being clarified. An advisor to the Russian governor of Crimea confirmed that multiple explosions had occurred but declined to comment on the possible cause of these explosions. Russia, of course, had for decades leased the naval port in Crimea, home of the Russian Black Sea Fleet from Kiev. But in 2014, Russia took control of the entire peninsula from Ukraine in a move that isn't recognized by most countries. Crimea, of course, has so far been spared from intense bombardment and artillery combat that has taken place in the eastern and the southern part of Ukraine. Remember, the conflict started almost 6 months ago on the 24th of February when Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered Russian armed forces into Ukraine, including some forces that were based at the peninsula. For the latest, I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Abhishek Bhalla joining us with the latest on the story. Also joining us from the Donbass region is senior journalist Xenia Kondrateva. She's joining us from Donbass. Xenia, if I could come to you first, what more do we know of these multiple blasts and the impact?
Yeah, so far the Russian Minister of Defense said that it was an accident at the ammunition storage facility.
Okay.
That's the version so far. We know of 3 casualties. I don't know if any fresh information has come in last 30 minutes, but I think that's what we know so far. We also know that Ukraine has not commented yet or claimed for any attack. But what we also know, to put this in the context, that couple of weeks back, maybe 3 weeks back, we have heard from one of the senior officials of Ukrainian army, I believe, that they will not be hesitant, they will not hesitate to attack, to strike into Crimea or any other territory if that's necessary. And he particularly mentioned a Crimean bridge, the bridge that Russia has built to connect the Crimean Peninsula with the rest of Russia. So he mentioned that we will strike that.
Does Ukraine have the capability? What kind of attacks can Ukraine mount in Crimea, especially in and around the airbase, if at all?
It's difficult for me to comment. I'm sure it does have capabilities, and with the Western supplies that are continuing, it probably has. But I'm not the best person to comment what kind of, how close it is to, you know, to the border to reach. But I'm sure that Ukrainian, as we see, because I'm reporting from Donetsk right now, and considering the kind of strikes they're capable to do on the city, they definitely have the capability to strike long-range weapons.
Okay. Xenia, stay with me for a moment. Abhishek, you've been speaking to your sources on ground. What's the latest that you've been able to pick up?
Well, Gaurav, yes, there has been a series of explosions. Silence from the Ukrainian side. Ukraine has not commented. Russia has also come out with a very cryptic kind of an explanation as to what has happened, not directly blaming Ukraine, just saying that these explosions took place near an airfield in Crimea. But, you know, just to sort of look at the situation, if at all it's the Ukrainian counter-attack then this could very much change the course of this war. And why, it's extremely significant for Ukraine to carry out this kind of a punitive military action on Crimea is because it's from Crimea that Russia is controlling its operations as far as the south of Ukraine is concerned.
Okay.
So,
stay with me for
yes,
a moment.
this could be...
Zinia, the situation on ground as far as this conflict between Russia and Ukraine is concerned, with additional weapons coming Ukraine's way, is this a stalemate? Is there an escalation? Is there an apprehension of an escalation coming winters?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I would disagree with our colleague that it would change the course of the war because one or two strikes in Russian territory, and those strikes have been happening. If at all it was a strike, I would again emphasize, because Russian Defense Ministry clearly said there was no attack, there was no impact. Let's leave it to them. Doing those strikes and, one or two strikes cannot change the course of the war. What's happening on the ground right now, that Russia has been advancing in the Donbas region around Donetsk. It has been slowly, very slowly, but very steadily advancing. And I can hear it from my window on the daily basis, what is really happening on the ground. We have to speak whether it will change the course of things in the south.
Okay.
I doubt, because striking one ammunition depot cannot change the course. Whether Russia will be provoked, again, if it was an attack, will Russia be provoked to use the weapons it has not used before? That's a very different question, because Russia, commenting on Ukraine's statement that we will not hesitate to strike, it has that it will lead to very serious consequences. So okay, that's a bit the scariest part, I would say.